Up next, we have a man commonly known as the Mad Fool, because that's the name of the website he set up when he decided to stage a charity fundraising event, which saw him spending a week sleeping in a perspex box hoisted above his local city centre. Not too dissimilar to David Blaine. Have a look and see for yourself.
Stuart Kettell, the Mad Fool, is getting ready for his 2010 challenge.
It's a lot smaller than I thought.
When Stuart first rang me, I must admit I thought it was a bit of a joke.
Hi Stuart and welcome to the show.
Hi.
We've just seen a little clip of you where you were doing a fundraising event where you were sleeping in a perspex box for a week, is that right?
It is, yeah. It was suspended by a crane in Broadgate, which is in Coventry city centre, for a whole week.
Oh wow, wow. Well, before we get further into that, why did you decide to start doing fundraising? Where did the inspiration come for that?
Well, I love the work Macmillan do. I've done quite a lot of filming for patients and various hospitals, and I've just heard some of the great stories from patients and their families and from Macmillan themselves about the work that they're doing, supporting people living with cancer, and that's inspired me to fundraise for them. And the challenges got wackier and wackier every year, up to the point now where I'm thinking, what do I do next?
So just run through some of the challenges that you've actually done, because I believe we've got a few clips on here of some of the wacky things that you've put yourself through.
2006 I did the London Marathon. Then I thought we've got to make the challenges a little bit crazier, because it creates a lot of awareness for the charity as well. It's not just about the fundraising, but it's the awareness for the charity. So in 2007 I bought a microlight on eBay, and fresh out of training, I flew around the whole of the UK coastline on the microlight. And 2008, I went from Land's End to John O'Groats, but just to make it a little bit harder, I did it on a penny farthing. And last year, I kayaked from France to Coventry, across the English Channel, up the River Thames, and up all through the canal networks into Coventry's canal basin. And then, as you've just seen, this year, I locked myself in a box for a week.
Oh my goodness. So where does the inspiration come for these kind of ideas? Because they are quite wacky. So is there anything in particular that inspired? Have you seen somebody do something similar?
Not really. I basically just try and pick things that I've never done before. I always like to pick things that I'm slightly apprehensive about and scared about as well, because that then creates a personal challenge. And things that I've never done before. So it's a whole new learning curve. I train for the whole year and planning. A lot of the challenges, it's a lot of planning as well, as you can imagine. For the health and safety for the box was just meeting after meeting after meeting. So there's a lot of preparation as well.
Sure. And you've had quite a lot of good press publicity as well. I think the media has really helped you with letting people know what you're doing, and thereby you've raised quite a lot of money because of that. How do you feel that the press have kind of...
Exactly. I mean, if you can get the press on your side, and that's why I try and create these wacky challenges, it really does help. And that can be television, it can be radio, it can be advertising or press, papers, all that kind of stuff. It all helps getting the message out there to people. Again, creating awareness for the charity. And if you get your website in there, obviously that tremendously helps with the fundraising.
Sure. And speaking of website and the internet, obviously being worldwide, have you had a lot of support from people from other countries? Have you?
Definitely, yeah. It helps obviously with any event to create a website, but I always try and make my challenges a little bit more interesting. So for instance, I'll have a tracker on board. If I'm going from A to B, like with the penny farthing or the kayak, I have a tracker on board, and that gets people logging on all the time, finding out where you are and what you're doing. Also with the box, I created a webcam, so again that makes it more interest. People are logging on every day to see what's going on. So
yeah, because the local community in Coventry really supported you. I remember seeing some of your your logs from your webcam and everything, and hearing the local radio station, you know, kind of talking about you and seeing some of the footage, and it was amazing how they really supported you. With
I was overwhelmed, totally overwhelmed, because not only relied on donations for the charity, it was my donations to keep me alive, food and drink. And people were just fantastic. They gave me blankets and to keep me warm, and all kinds of stuff came up in the bucket, you know, not just coins. So it's good fun.
Oh, that's good. And so what's the next challenge for you then? I believe you've got something even wackier that you've got planned.
Yeah, I've created a giant seesaw, and there's two platforms. There's a platform which I live on, and there's the donation platform. So the idea is there's a giant hamster wheel on my platform, and every day I run a full 26.2 mile marathon in this wheel.
Every single day? Every
single day for the whole duration. Now, it's designed to last a minimum of a week. I sleep there. I've kept the hamster theme because I've built a hamster wheel. I've got a little hamster house which I sleep in. There's a hamster pot on the other side. So eventually, after a minimum of 7 days, the donations will reach a greater weight, the seesaw will tip up, and that's when the challenge is over. So it's going to be a minimum of 7 marathons in 7 days.
Okay, that's an interesting concept, definitely.
It's different.
Yeah.
The box works so well engaging with children, and that's what I've tried to do again this time. It was the children that said, Mum, Dad, come on, I want to go and see the man in the box. So I've tried to create again something which is going to engage with kids.
Sure. And is there a particular amount of money that you're trying to raise? Do you have a figure?
Well, in the box we raised £7,000 in the bucket, and that was 6 full buckets. So what I'm doing is basing the weight on what we took then, which was a week. So we're going to make it 7 buckets. So that's why I say it will be a minimum of a week. So it'll be at least 7 full buckets of coins before the seesaw will tip up. Okay. If it goes early, if people start putting £20, instead of giving me a £20 note, they start putting £20 of penny coins in, it might go early. So what I shall do is wait at my end to stop it going any earlier than a week. So I will get my 7 marathons in.
And are you training for that at the moment?
Training very heavily.
It's going to be hard work.
Yeah, it is. I find running quite hard because I find it quite boring long distances. You know, it's very easy to just say, okay, I've done 10 miles, I'm going home. It's very easy to give up. So hopefully, the wheel's being made literally as I speak, so it should be ready in the next week. If I can get it in my garage, then I shall do all my training from now on in the wheel, start getting used to it and getting used to the motion and everything of it.
Okay. And what's the website? So for people to kind of follow what you're doing and get a bit more information when it comes to closer to the time, how can they contact you and find out more information?
Yeah, it's willthemadfoolmakeit.co.uk.
Excellent. And with regards to your kind of press preparation and again creating that awareness and using the media, how far in advance do you plan things like that?
It's nice to get a preempt in way before the challenge, because that's when you get people interested and when you get people hooked on what you're doing. So I've come up with an artist's impression for the hamster wheel of what it's going to look like. So we've physically got a picture of what it's going to be. So yeah, I'd say about 3 months normally before a challenge. It's good to just get a little story in about what's about to happen. And then obviously if you can get the press interested during the challenge, and then again a follow-up story of how much money you've raised afterwards. So as much press as you can possibly get, really all helps.
Sure. And they really have been really good to you, haven't they?
Brilliant.
Because sometimes we look at the media and, you know, with the media there can be a lot of negativity in there, and when it comes to the more positive stories they tend not to report on those, but in your experience they have been
absolutely fantastic. I mean, with the box, they actually called it Box Day 1, Box Day 2. It was the life of the man in the box. It was featured every single day, a half-page spread, and people were just wanting to know what was passed up in the bucket, whether I was okay, you know, everything like that. I mean, it really was. It was great. It seemed to engage with people. So that's what my challenges are all about now. It's not always about going from A to B. It's about engaging with people and being in the public eye.
Excellent. Well, Stuart, you certainly are a mad fool. I commend you, and good luck with your next challenge. Well done for all the money that you've raised as well for Macmillan. They must be absolutely, you know, ecstatic with what you're doing. Good luck for the next challenge, and I'm sure that we'll be back to follow and see how you get on.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Next up, we have an email from Danny from Bristol. Hi Natalie, your show is very inspirational and reminds me of the Oprah Winfrey Show. Will you also be bringing out a magazine like her? Thanks for your compliment, Danny. I'm really glad that you're enjoying the show. Now, we have been thinking about bringing out a magazine alongside the show, as we know that people love to have something that they can refer to at any time of the day. And even though we live in a world of computer technology and everything is about online and internet, we know that people still love to read words on paper, and they can refer back to it at any time, at any point. You know, whenever they have a moment, you can pick up a magazine and just flick back through it. So it's definitely something that's in the pipeline. We're doing a few drafts and plans and things at the moment. So make sure you look out for it. Keep tuned to the show, to the website. We'll certainly let you know when there's some more information on it. Keep watching, and thank you so much. And I am glad that you are really enjoying the show. Thanks for your question, Danny.